Let's go to the Big Ten. Let's talk Michigan. Let's talk Iowa. Michigan minus 21.5. We picked it at 22. Yeah, we nailed it. Look, some referees bailed out Michigan in terms of covering. But again, we said this. Iowa had no chance of winning this football game. They had no chance. And you know what? That's
What do you
why.
mean that bad referee call that screwed Iowa from
Oh
winning the
yeah, that would
game,
have
right?
changed the game. And like I'm tweeting this during the game. Like once Michigan put up 20 points, like Iowa has scored more than 20 points like 3 times this entire year, right? So good
And
luck.
like once in Big Ten play,
Yeah,
twice,
and
twice.
this is the best defense that they played against all year. Good luck. So yeah, this was not even close. And JJ McCarthy didn't look that. I will say that Iowa defense looked awesome. Like they played their absolute nuts off. Like they had
Yeah,
nuts this game. Like that secondary, man, even without Cooper DeJean, what is it about? What is it about Parker, dude? What is it about Phil Parker and his defense is just being so dang elite all the time? With
they're
doesn't
just
matter who's back there.
they're just so unbelievably disciplined, and that like they force you to do exactly what they want you to do. And the thing is, if you don't have the caliber of athlete to really expose that, and I think Michigan is as talented as they've ever been. But if you want to talk about dynamic players on the edge, I don't think they have that. And like when Iowa plays its A game defensively, like you saw Michigan's scoring drives, touchdown drives were two short fields. Like, yeah, like that's kind of this was really impressive. You mentioned it, Phil Parker. Like he deserves a lot of credit. Now, whether Kirk Ferentz stays or not, or he walks out into the sunlight or sunset, like Phil Parker's going to deserve a shot to be that head coach or to be, a big time defense coordinator somewhere or a head coach somewhere. Like he has done a tremendous job year over year, maximizing talent, recruiting, developing, putting players into perfect schemes and techniques and whatnot.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. But credit Jim Harbaugh's Michigan team, come back, winning the Big 12 or winning the Big 10, making the college football playoffs for the third straight year, winning the Big 10 for the third straight year, having an undefeated regular season for the third straight year. And look, they unfortunately they pull Alabama, which uh, is yes the worst team that they could have possibly pulled. And their player reaction demonstrated that, as we've already mentioned when we talked about Alabama. Uh,
They're they're
we'll, we'll
they're probably going to close as um underdogs.
underdogs.
Which
I
when
think
was
they
last
will
time
too.
we saw the number one team? Have we ever had that in that first semifinal game? I bet that normal
Uh,
spread's probably over a touchdown. With a lot of these matchups that have been the 1 versus 4 team.
yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Um, Even when Bama played Ohio State in like 2014, the first college football play when Ohio State actually won, I think that was a pretty decent spread if I remember it correctly. But
Yeah, because how do you power rate Cardell Jones?
yeah, exactly. I think that was the confusion there. But yeah, Michigan, Nugent going down. I don't know his status necessarily going forward. Uh, we'll see about that. Of course,
Yeah, a
Zinter goes
month to get
down.
healthy.
A month to get out. Zinter goes down. Don't think Zinter will be playing necessarily, but I mean, that's two offensive linemen. Say you don't have those guys. Does Michigan still have the depth to compete with this Alabama front seven? I
Yeah.
think they
Oh,
do.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they theoretically they do. We'll see if it actually happens. I do think like either Texas or Bama would have been a tough draw in terms of that front seven for both those teams. It's pretty damn good. But Michigan has recruited well and developed well on both sides of the ball and the
Yeah,
interior.
keyword developed. They develop
Yeah,
men.
they do. About the game, though, I thought it was interesting. Like, I guess Iowa knew they had to throw the ball, but like as soon as Michigan, I was hoping them like to try some stuff to maybe get a quick score early. Just come out of the gates, just
A single trick
unleash
play.
the bat. Yeah, like Brian Ferentz in your last game ever as an Iowa offensive coordinator, you're telling me you couldn't have come up with something like crazy. Like I feel like you could have done something crazy, and like I don't know. The thing is, like in this game, as soon as you go down 10-0, like that feels insurmountable because that's not Michigan's last score, and that means you have to get two scores, to even come close to that, and one of them has to be in the end zone. It's tough though, and if the problem is like this Iowa team is just so banged up, right? Like I don't think it would have mattered. Cade McNamara in the revenge game, I don't think would have mattered, right? The only
Right.
person that like if you got both tight ends back, you got the corner back, and maybe it makes a play on special teams. Who knows? But yeah, this was never going to be an Iowa win it regardless. So it's a shame though. The Big Ten West stays winless, right, in the conference championship game
In its
since they
entire history. In its entire
brutal.
history.
You know they won one game this year against a ranked team, and that was Minnesota beating Iowa. It was
Yeah.
West on
Dude,
West crime there.
dude, it's like crazy though, because like in the ACC when the two divisions existed, right? You didn't hear a lot about like, oh, the ACC Coastal Champion, right? Like that wasn't like the thing. Like the Big Ten West champion was like the thing because like that's what they had to play for, you know. Like
Yeah,
that was the goal. Like in everyone's team meetings before the season, it was like, what is the goal? Right? It was like it was probably winning the Big Ten West. So that is what
which
made that is what made that division really fun though, right? It's like you always had like some people like in week 13 were pulling out the rule books. Every year was like, okay, what kind of tiebreaker is gonna get my team the Big Ten West title? Because like
yeah,
you
because
knew
it was always
that's
a 14 race.
there's always like a 4 or 5 team race, which is so awesome. So I'll miss the Big Ten West for that reason. But look, Big Ten West football isn't eliminated because these teams still exist and they're still in the Midwest and they still will be playing each other to some degree. So
Especially in October, November when it's cold. It was just funny that those 7 teams would just try to out Iowa each other, and like you
they
can't do
can't
that.
do
You
it.
you should
Can't
know
do
better
it.
than to do that. But yeah, regardless, we called this game. We said take Michigan spread, do not take the over. Right? Like
Yeah.
we talked about that. We're like, instead of taking Michigan over 36 or 35, whatever it was like
35,
Michigan's gonna
35
have to
and a half.
cover that themselves. Like I was not gonna give them much help in terms of taking hitting the over right on the total there. So Michigan take the spread and you'll be pretty good there. But yeah,
Yep. It was a Dawson Diner play. It was awesome. But yeah, the Iowa
about
team total first half and second half and to full game all hit all those unders. So that
and the
was
game still hit under. Dude, they were crazy on unders this year. I think I'm trying to look at maybe the Michigan State game was their only under that hit or
the
only
over.
over that
Well, I
hit.
think Western Michigan over hit also because that score was like 41-10. Uh,
Yeah, there's no way
but
that line
yeah,
was above 50. I do
I,
think real quick, I do want to ask you about Michigan though, going forward. I know we'll talk about the playoff breakdowns. We'll get to all of that. But like this is
yeah,
another
Iowa's
game.
2-11 to the under or over. So 11-2 to the under.
That's what we call wagon. That's what we
Oh
call
yeah,
wagon.
oh yeah, they're right there with they were tied in first for UCLA unders and Tulane unders. So good work by those.
Does it worry you about
And
Michigan? Because
Ohio, the Ohio Bobcats 3-8-1 to the under. Which, by the way, I had the under in one of those 3 games where it lost. So pretty brutal. But anyways, continue what you were saying.
about Michigan, like this is another game where yeah, they threw the ball 30 times to McCarthy, but they didn't really push the ball down the field, right? Like, does this
Hey,
concern you? I get it. Like Iowa was trying to keep you underneath, and like that's who Iowa is, and it's another week of playing a really good defense, Ohio State and Iowa. But like, you're gonna have to play 2 really good defenses probably if you want to win a national championship game. Can JJ McCarthy? Does this worry you? Does this game? Does this outcome? Like, hey, like they don't trust McCarthy, or is it like our best chance of winning is taking care of the football,
it
and
actually
that's
it
what we're
does
gonna do.
worry me a little bit because you like now Iowa, of course, they're gonna Iowa. They have a really good secondary. They're disciplined, but like the secondaries that Michigan is going to be playing against, those DBs are more athletic than their receivers. They are. Well, specifically Bama. I'm not going to say Washington and Texas necessarily, but specifically that first round, you got to circle Alabama because those DBs are especially more athletic than their receivers are. And they've shown that all year. And you have to hit explosive plays if you're going to beat Bama. That's just what it is. You have to. Auburn hit a couple explosive plays that kept them in that game. Texas hit those explosive plays when they needed to win that game. And look, and the teams that didn't hit the explosive plays, the teams that even when teams that were up, even teams that were up on Bama, right, and they got conservative, Texas A&M, they didn't hit the explosive plays, and those were the margins. So if you need explosive plays, I'm not sure if Michigan's going to get it. You really got to hope that, I mean, Junior Colson and that linebacking core you need them. You need them to ball out, contain a guy known as Jalen Milroe in the box, which I thought Georgia did an okay job of. Just Michigan does a good job not really turning the ball over, which is key. Can't do that against Alabama, which I like for that matchup. But yeah, an early Dawson's Diner play a month in advance, I did take Bama plus 2.5. So if you follow us on Twitter at the Redshirt Soft, I did already take that. So the line's already moved to 1.5. I anticipate that crossing 0 by the time kickoff starts.
That's more the value play. I think that's more why we decided to take it, was
Yeah,
because
I think it's
that
just
line's not
value.
going to finish there. Yeah.
No, and look,
Just
but when that flips, when it's all said and done, is it possible that I'm on Michigan by the time that rolls around? Say Nugent's healthy. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.